Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of QUIZME with QUIZME Solutions Architect Edition. And so I have a special guest today who is a fresh grad with a engineering background, right? Ki-
Oh yeah, I'm an engineering
Yeah.
background.
So my guest is Kyle. Kyle, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, hello everyone. I'm Kyle Atendido. An electronics engineering fresh graduate and also a licensed electronics engineer. So I'm currently working as a junior DevOps engineer for an IT consulting company, and recently I passed my Solutions Architect Associate certification exam last week.
Right. Congratulations on that, no?
Uh,
Um,
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, so we don't really have many background on the uh, engineering side, no? Most of our people that we interview are developers. How did you come about AWS cloud?
Well, I came up with AWS 2 years ago when I was working with my thesis. So during my thesis, my team and I were creating a home automation system. So we have a solar panel which is connected to the microcontroller, which monitors the voltage consumption of the solar panel, and at the same time, we are monitoring the power consumption of the devices which we are going to switch on and off using a mobile phone.
Mm,
So when I came up, so when we're about to transmit it to another platform, I actually discovered that that platform that we're using also has an integration with AWS,
mm,
which I got curious during that time. So after that, I kept on thinking about AWS and its significance until after the board exam, when my mentor, Engineer introduced me to AWS, which I got excited about since I really didn't know that there was really a big cloud platform which provides infrastructure for most
mm.
enterprises. So I really didn't know na medyo malaki siya. So as from an engineering background, I really had no idea about cloud back then. So that's how I came about in how I was able to go through AWS.
Is there any particular set of services that you really like at the moment?
Well, currently, I like the EC2 services and VPC services. The VPC services somewhat related to my field since in my engineering degree, I was able to learn more about data communication systems, the protocols, the HTTP, UDP, TCP, the various IP address
Mm.
ranges, the IPs's. So it's very related to my field.
All right. Cool. No, maybe something you want to look at also is the IoT services, no? Because
Oh yeah.
being electronics engineer, those might be something you might want to tinker with the green grass and all of these hardware components with AWS. Something
Oh
interesting.
yes. Uh, yeah, I'm really interested in in trying that. Although I'm still for time to do it. I'm still adjusting to my work right now.
All right. Cool. So with let's proceed to the next part of the show now, which is basically let's go through some of the questions with powered by Tutorials Dojo, and just give us your line of thought of how you would answer this, so that other people might understand if they are also given this question questions like this in the exam, how would they answer it, no? All right.
I
All
see.
right. Cool. So our first question is, you are setting up the required compute resources in your VPC, VPC, our favorite, for your application, which have workloads that require high sequential read and write access to a very large data set on local storage. Which of the following instance type is the most suitable one to use in this scenario?
Oh, wait. So if I'm going to choose the memory optimized instances, it doesn't suit to your EC2 since it states there that the workload must have high sequential read and write. It doesn't state out the CPU utilization or the memory utilization. The general purpose instances is more on a balanced type of processes, which includes memory, CPU. Compute optimize is more on the enhanced is more on having a rapid access to a program which has high memory. So for this one, I will choose storage optimized instances since it states that it's high sequential read and write access to very large data
All
sets
right,
in local
so let's check
storage.
that out. That is correct. Ano? Yes, that is the
Oh,
correct answer. Being sequential, and you need to read, to write and read a lot. So let's go to our
mm,
next question. This one is: you are working as a solutions architect in a global investment bank, which requires corporate IT governance and cost oversight of all of their AWS resources across their divisions around the world. Their corporate divisions want to maintain administrative control of the discrete AWS resources they consume and ensure that those resources are separate from other divisions. Which of the following options will support the autonomy of each corporate division while enabling the corporate IT to maintain the governance and cost oversight? All right. So you have a lot of options here. Maybe you can read them out because it's very different.
so first option is create separate availability zones for each division within the corporate IT AWS account. The second option is to create separate VPCs for each division within the corporate IT AWS account. The third option is use AWS Trusted Advisor. The fourth option is to enable IAM cross account access for all corporate IT administrators in each child account. And is that the last option? Use AWS consolidated billing by creating AWS organizations to link the division's account to a parent corporate account. So, since it states that the question wants to have a separate corporate account for each department, and they want their uh, that they want their different departments to access the resources of different departments in the organization. So, the first uh, option states that you have to create separate ACs for each division, which is
Mm-hmm.
it's not cost effective, to be honest. You're just creating a separate availability zone for the division, and the second option is not that good. So it states there that you have to create a separate VPC for each division, which is not efficient. The third option is using AWS Trusted Advisor, but uh, the function of AWS Trusted Advisor is to have a good budget management of your services and at the same time good service utilization of their services. So I will choose the fourth and fifth option, which is to enable IAM cross-account access for all corporate IT administrators and to use AWS consolidated billing. So in these options, so the other AWS account can access the resources of another AWS account in just one organization. And at the same time, you can consolidate all of their bills into just one by creating an AWS organization, which is very cost effective and
Yeah, and
and can
also
save
in
your
this
time.
set of answers, you have multiple root accounts, no? And in this case, I would say you are able to restrict them using the SCP policy of your organization. So it gives you that governance as well. So let's check.
Mm-mm.
Ayan, correct. Very good, no?
Oh,
So I understand you also use Tutorials Dojo for your review, correct? So some of these questions
Oh yeah, sir.
are familiar already with you. Some of them.
Some of them, but there are some questions that I
So
still
that
get
just shows
incorrect
you the
answers.
depth of questions that they have, no? So you cannot just memorize it. Talaga, you have to
Yeah.
understand it. Mhm.
Oh, this question
Okay,
is
so
quite confusing for
you are
me.
working as an IT consultant for a top investment firm. Your task is to ensure smooth upgrade of their accounting system in AWS to a new version without system outages. The technical manager gave an advice to implement an in-place upgrade strategy, while a DevOps engineer suggested to use blue-green deployment strategy instead. Okay, so it's to no no either in place or blue-green. Which of the following options are
Mm-mm.
not the advantages of using blue-green deployments over in-place upgrade strategy? Yun. So not a blue-green advantage. Okay. So let's read out
Hmm.
the options now because it's quite long and very different also.
Uh, First option is impaired operation or downtime is minimized because impact is limited to the window of time between green environment issue detection and shift of traffic back to the blue environment. The second option is you can use blue green deployment with code commit and code build to automatically deploy the new version of your application. The third option is to it has the ability to simply roll the incoming traffic back to the currently working environment in case of system failures anytime during the deployment process. Fourth option, blue-green deployment is more cost-effective than in-place upgrade. I mean, you don't need to launch a new environment with additional AWS resources. And last option is blue-green deployments provide a level of isolation between your blue and green application environments, which reduce the deployment risk. The blue environment represents the current application version serving production traffic, while the green one is staged, running a different or upgrade version of your application. Uh, hmm. For me, what I'll answer there is that for the one
Yeah,
which is
not an
not, which is
advantage.
a
Yes, so that's the
disadvantage.
keyword, no?
Oh yeah.
Parang which is false. No, which
So
is false.
I'll choose I'll choose the second and third option since it states that the second and fourth option. I'm sorry, since it states that since all the three options are already
And
advantages.
anything in the second or fourth that you notice is false.
Hmm. I no,
Okay, all
don't
right.
think
Sige. So
so.
let's check
It's
the
already
answers
right.
out. Yan, correct, no? So, an obvious one for the at least this one is that obviously it's not more cost effective. At
Mm-hmm.
a particular point, you have both, no?
Mm-hmm.
So that is why, and for the rest of the viewers who wants to read the reason, you can read it here. Right. Okay, our next question, fourth question. A solutions architect is deploying a three-tier cryptocurrency web application for a fintech startup. The architect has been instructed to restrict access to the database tier to only accept traffic from the application tier and deny traffic from other sources. The application tier is composed of application servers hosted in an auto-scaling group of EC2 instances. Which of the following options is the most suitable solution to implement in this scenario? Ayan. So,
I think this is a very fundamental security question sa AWS. It already states that for a database to be secured, it needs to have a security group which only which is only being accessed by the application tier, no more, no less. So uh, I'll choose
So
the
the
first
first option is
option.
set up security group of the database tier to allow database traffic from security group of the application servers. No? All right. Okay. Maybe we
Mm-mm.
can for our viewers, no, that has the first time that has heard a but three-tier application. Do you maybe you can explain a little bit what a three-tier application is?
Oh, uh, I think for me, three tier means that you have two layers of security. One is a network access control list, and the second one is the security group of the instance, and the other security level is the security of the instance itself. That's what I can understand from the three
Cool.
tier.
And I think I'll just add to that, no. Some applications kasi are two-tier, meaning your web server and application business is direct to the DB. Here, when we're doing three-tier,
Mm-mm.
the UI or GUI is separated from the business and the business database. No? So, like I said, it adds a layer of set of security as well. So let's check it out. If
Mm-hmm.
your answer is correct, that is correct. No, so very
Mm-hmm.
well done. So let's
Mm-hmm.
check the next and last question you have. Okay, so our last question is WordPress website hosted in EC2 instance, which has an additional EBS volume attached, was mistakenly deployed in US East 1A availability zone due to misconfiguration in your CloudFormation template. There is a requirement to quickly rectify the issue by moving and attaching the EBS volume to a new EC2 instance in US 1B availability zone. As an SA of the company, which of the following should you do to resolve the issue? Yan. So, a lot of options here, no? Sure.
Wait, let me read the options first, okay? I already forgot this. WordPress, which is an additional.
Basically, here it's you have an EC2 and EBS in AZA.
Mm.
You have to move it to AZB. Mhm. All right. So while you're thinking, I'll read out the options first. No. First, create a snapshot of the EBS
Mm.
volume. Afterwards, create a volume using the snapshot in the other availability zone. So in this case, parang copy muna. Backup muna tapos copy. Option 2, create a
Mm.
new EBS volume in another AZ, then specify the current EBS volume as the source. So dito naman create, tapos yung source image, yung active EBS volume. Option 3,
Mm.
detach the EBS volume and attach it to the EC2 instance residing in another availability zone. So basically, yung active EC2, tatanggalin mo dun sa AZA yung EBS and then ililipat mo yung current EBS volume to AZB na EC2 instance. And then option 4, create a new volume in another AZ. Next, perform a disk copy of the content from the source volume to the new volume that you have created. Yan. So basically, a new volume sa kabila, and then you're gonna do a disk copy of the content.
Mm. I think I'll choose the first option. It's more practical and faster to mitigate the issue. Since the second, third, and fourth option says that you have to create a new EBS volume in another AC, which is another cost that you have to pay. The third one is to detach the EPS volume and attach it to an EC2 instance residing in another AC, which is not a good practice. And the fourth one is to create a new volume in the other AC, then next perform a disk copy of the contents, the disk copy contents from the source volume to the volume you have created.
All right, that is correct. So you have 5 out of 5. No? So perfect score. Yeah. Mm-mm. Yes. Also, moving EBS from one AZ to another AZ is currently not supported. No, so that's why you really have to create a snapshot first. All right. So basically, that's for the viewers. You can pause and read the explanation. So there we have it. So all five. Thank you very much, no? So for your time also here. I appreciate the time that you have given. And for our users and subscribers, if you want to appear here, you can always comment and like also. That's it. Thank you for tonight. Thank you very much. And bye bye, everyone.